is episode 335 of Gold Squadron Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, William, launching Feels Bad, Hegwood, and tonight I'm joined by Ryan. It's not Christmas yet, Staniszewski.
Yeah, we still have Thanksgiving to go to. Get that Christmas out of here. Not till December. Humbug. Yada yada.
Full agreeance here.
Full agreement here.
We also have James, Zomboid, Best Boy, or Ritter.
Zomboid is Best Boy. We were cracked out on Zomboid, Project Zomboid this weekend.
Love that Zomboid. Made it past the power going out. It was a big accomplishment.
Yeah, I survived for so long, all to die to a zombie reaching in through the car and body my neck.
Forgot the cars should have windows, huh?
Cars should have windows unless you run into things and knock all the windows out.
Yeah. Well, before we get into our main topics, I got to talk about what brings these podcasts to you, and that is our Patreons. Patrons make up the largest group of our supporters. They have access to Patreon exclusive channels in our Discord, and Dion posted even more of the shareable art from our past fan-made projects. So check out patreon.com/goldsquadron to become a Patreon today. So, first off, we are still in the midst of XTC, so wanted to give a quick update on the top teams of each group right now. There is also the Nickel City Draft League that's wrapping up as well. We're going to try to see which of those teams make it into that tournament's cut next time, but for right now, we want to look at the XTC top teams. We are 3 weeks in, got 2 more left. So let's take a look at these groups here. Group A has Germany coming off a bye week and currently undefeated. So it has 2 more rounds of play. If they can remain undefeated, can guarantee that top spot. Otherwise, New Zealand at 2-1, hot on their tail to make it into the final selection. Remember, each of these groups has 2 teams going into the final selection. So let's take a look at as well. This is Group B. Group B has Colombia right now 3-0. A big upset here in the group, taking a tie last week was Hellas and Scotland. Really going to hurt them in the standings. Hellas, I'm looking to see, has 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 draw. Oof, that draw really painful in these groups. The first 3 only play 4 games before it's decided, so really going to hurt them. Especially because they'll be fighting out with Colombia doing so well. That second spot is going to be pretty contested in Group B. Let's see here. Group C has England 2-1. Probably going to have a bye week this week or next week. Then has also Australia at 2-0. So they're coming off of a bye week, going to be able to look for that undefeated record. We'll move on to Group D. Now, Group D is the first one with 6 teams in it, so they're going 5 rounds. USA at the top right now at 3-0, though has to face off against Spain and Poland to finish off the group stage. So not out of the woods yet. With Spain and Poland at 2-1. Right behind the US of A. So very close there between those top 3 teams. And the last group here, Group E, having France and Team Pirates at undefeated going into the last 2 rounds. All but assured that they'll make it in. But Canada has a chance. 2-1 right now. 12 overall wins, only 3 team losses could be enough. That tiebreaker could get them into the final stage. But they'll have to take down France and see a loss between, is it Pirates versus France this week? Yes, it's Pirates versus France this week. So Canada's got to win out. France has to lose to Pirates and Canada before, or no, Pirates already, oh, sorry. France has to, that's the last week too. So that's going to be a big one to see who can get into the group stage from this group. Close, very close. Group E.
Interesting thing with Canada, like you mentioned, they have a 12-3 individual record. So if I recall correctly, that means they've went undefeated in both of their victories so far and only lost 2-3 in their single team loss.
That's exactly correct. They swept Norway and South Africa, but did lose 3-2 to the Pirates. So they're doing the best they can to be able to get in there. Marcel, you did make it.
I wouldn't miss anything with you, gentlemen.
Yeah, thoughts on
if I can help it.
Well, glad to have you jump in here. We're just finishing out talking about this week's team groups in the XTC. Most of them very close. That second spot in almost every group still up for grabs.
Yeah, actually, it's the first spot in a lot of groups except Colombia. I think Colombia is the only one that just is kind of cemented.
They almost have clinched it. Yeah, going 3-0 in a 4.
I mean they basically clinched it because they're going to end up 3-1 at worst, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it comes down to individuals. If there's multiple 3-1s, could come down to individual wins. But still,
Colombia, they're going undefeated. But I did catch the Spicy podcast yesterday from Ali, Connor, and Liam. And when they were talking about Group D, they were saying like, "Oh, they're 3-0, but they haven't played anybody yet. That's not impressive. They haven't played Poland and Spain yet." So it was like 100% shade at the islands, Mexico and Serbia. Wow. They're like, "Oh, they haven't played nobody yet."
Well, turns out those are real teams out there.
Yeah, and they're tough.
Not easy victories anywhere in the XTC.
Wait, if I recall correctly, didn't one of those teams that are quote not real threats or challenges for the U.S. Didn't one of those teams beat Poland?
No, they demolished Poland 4-1.
Even better, demolished.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Mexico.
Yeah.
And so apparently they were easy for the U.S. So if they're easy for the U.S., then is that even a bigger dig on Poland than Mr. Ali Pakno?
Yeah. Or Mr. So. They got beat by, I don't know, they got beat. So there you go. But anyway, that was my 2 cents. I got to come in and
USA's not out of the woods yet. It's not out of the group stage yet. It hasn't clinched it.
No, it's not. I mean, realistically, if we won't, but if the U.S. were to lose the last two, that's 3-2. Spain and Poland can still go 4-1, or they can still go 3-2, and Mexico 3-2, with really only Serbia that's cleaning up to the back. Or you can end up with, we go undefeated and Serbia goes unbeaten, you can end up with a 3-way tie for second. Like there's still a lot of there's still a lot to be written. And nobody except Serbia is. I don't think the U.S. Islands are. Well, what's the U.S. Islands at? 1 and 2.
1 and 2, 5 wins. So
yeah,
they're gonna have to get to 15 wins. Yeah, they're gonna have to sweep, but they could.
Yeah, they're not. But they can play. Yeah, they can play spoiler. You know,
we hope they
that's
do.
always a good role. There was. You guys ever seen Kevin Hobbs or read Kevin Hobbs comic books?
Oh, Calvin and Hobbes, yeah.
Calvin and Hobbs, yeah. Calvin and Hobbs. So one of them, it was with Susie, which is his rival, and he was waiting at a bus stop with like a really mean grin, and then she showed up all perky and happy and, hey, how you doing, Calvin? Good morning. And he just said something mean to her, and next thing he saw, like she was like feeling all down and in the gutter, and he had like this evil smile around, and he said, "Nothing helps a bad mood like spreading it around." So if you are Serbia, if you are the U.S. islands, and you're not gonna make it, nothing feels better than spreading that elimination around. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful for them spoilers. They don't want to go. They want other people to feel their pain.
Yeah, understandable, right? So yeah, it's really heating up in the XCC. We got 2 more weeks this week and next week, so I have to check in on the final results of it and find out who got into that finals for December. But I was trying to bring Marcel back in to my other scene. But while I'm doing that,
Where'd I go?
You haven't gone anywhere yet. Ryan, why don't you talk about what our next segment we're going to talk about is?
So we wanted to kind of expand a little further on a lot of people asking, like, oh, do we think, or from our sort of mailbag segment last week, getting our listener questions in, where a lot of people asked in multiple ways, do we think if there's going to be a points update before Worlds? When do we think it'll happen? What could be done? Tweaks, yada, yada, yada. So we wanted to expand on that a little bit and go through a sort of faction by faction, but one change from each of us gives sort of a like GSP points tweak. If we had to make our tweaks before Worlds, when one of us gets to pick one thing per faction and we can't pick the same thing, what would the GSP cast points tweak look like? So like picking one pilot cost or a loadout value or an upgrade slot for a pilot or an upgrade cost for a faction upgrade. So yeah, we just wanted to kind of, people are, I assume people have done plenty of speculation themselves. It's like, oh, if it happens, like, I think this should change, or or maybe that will change, or yada yada yada. So we'll go in order, and vary the order. So like Will isn't first the entire time; it gets first pick the entire time of like what faction what change he would make. So it's very likely the last person on the list may have to think a little bit harder on that one. But yeah, it's just a little bit of fun, a little bit of speculation, and maybe gauging from each other, because we all have very varying opinions and thoughts on how X-Wing feels right now, and what may be things that maybe should. And this isn't just directly only nerfs. This is buffs or nerfs or maybe side tweaks that like it should stay the same power curve, but maybe it's a little different type of thing. So what faction do you want to start with, Will?
Let's start at the top here, because I got one for Rebels, which is a small tweak to an upgrade. So as many people know, Han been very scary, customizable Han specifically, going down from 8 to 7. Now could fit into more 4 and 5 ship lists. Though the loadout for Han has been very stagnant. You really only get the choice right now between if you want Bistan and Perceptive to shoot twice with your focus mods. you have about 4 points remaining, so you can get chopper and engine. So you can do chopper even while stressed, if you got a sloop or do something like that, fly through debris, or engine. Again, trying to keep you unstressed and maneuverable with that when you're in those like one-on-one engagements. So I don't think actually Han Solo at 7 is necessarily the problem, or any of the other Falcons in Resistance, because I don't think Bistan, I guess, could go on a Ghost, but you could just do like Veteran Turret Gunner to have the same kind of thing. So I don't think the problem is actually Han, any of the YT-1300s. I feel like the issue's got to be with Bistan. So right now, without changing anything, Han has 4 more points after Perceptive Bistan, and Lando would have 5 more points. Leia would get 3 more than that, so what would that be? 8. Gets 8 points remaining after Perceptive Bistan. But people aren't putting it on Leia, so I feel like that threshold would be increasing Bistan up to 5 points. So going from 8 to 13 would allow only Lando and Leia to equip Bistan, and to not Han Solo. Han Solo would have to go back to using things like R2-D2 and a force point to try to be out there like double modding attacks, things like that. The question, I guess, would be, bounce it over to you guys. Should Bistan be on any of the YT-1300s with Perceptive Copilot, or is Han really the worst offender of it?
I mean, I'm curious to see what would happen if Bistan was dinked for Han, as in likely his loadout gets decreased, but maybe becomes more available for the Lando or Leia, and people try that. People actually have been trying Lando with Bistan as well, and to some varying degrees of success. But most of the time it's Han. Bistan may or may not be a card that, if it is strong in any aspect, or highly competitive, it might be too good, right? As we talked about in the past, like Bistan might be something that's bannable, realistically. Like it rides that line maybe too much. Obviously, it's a bigger deal that it's on an I-6 ship that has Han's ability to reroll. So it's not your traditional target lock reroll, but it helps mitigate bad variance. Essentially, you're looking for the best result out of 2 full rolls of attack dice.
I mean, just on pure rolling dice, Han is rolling up to, 12 dice then a round. If he Hans both of his 3 dice attacks, he's looked at 12 dice for that round.
Yeah, sometimes more if you're range 1.
Yeah, so the potential getting out that variance is pretty easy when you're just having such massive dice pools. I did, yeah. So putting Bistan up 5 points is actually the 5 points Lando normally takes with a 9. So now you actually had to make choices with him as well to not take the 3 bank blues and the 1 bank blues to trigger their ability. So not only you still get the Bistan, but you would have to make other sacrifices.
Actually make decisions.
Yeah. You're stuck very rigid if you're trying to use Lando's ability and Perceptive Copilot. What about you guys? What are you looking at for Rebels?
Go ahead,
you got
Ryan.
designates since you went first.
Yeah. You say somebody will.
Oh, Ryan.
Sorry, something kept like popping up over my mute button. I was like, oh no. So I think I'd want to do something a little more on the make something that's not good now better scale. I'm trying to see how widespread of an effect I could have, though. Make sure that this is already of something free. It is free. Okay. I would go with. We'll do something a little more targeted, I guess. I would look at either 10 Nub and or Braylon to be down to 4 points with reduced loadout.
I did look at that, yeah.
With reduced loadout. I guess I'd have to look at like, all right, what would a reduced loadout look like? Correct? Because we got the stabilize, I suppose. I think you ideally want to be incentivized to bring a cannon, right? Like, not that you have to use the ability, but like,
I mean,
it feel kind of weird if the free upgrade you can take, albeit still gives it more linked action opportunities, could also allow like if you just couldn't equip a cannon, that just wouldn't like that. That's not the point, right? So I think you could probably drop the loadout somewhere in single digits, but like an 8 or a 9, right? So where they're not loading out a ton of stuff, they could still take plasma torpedoes if they wanted. They could take a cannon plus a talent and stuff like that. Still maybe have some loadout for payload. You're just narrowing the scope a bit. And I think bringing some B-Wings to the table. They're both I4s, nothing crazy. Gina already exists at I5. Obviously, Gina's ability is not as dice modification effective as a Braylon or a 10 Nub, but, I'm just, we got ARCs at 4 points. We got T-70s at 4 points. We got regular X-Wings at 4 points. Let's get some B-Wings at 4 points.
Do you think it's the easily modified double attacks is what's keeping them at 5 points?
I honestly don't know what's keeping them at 5 points because they're not played at 5 points anyway. But I think there's probably an argument that if you just knock their pilot costs down by 1 and didn't touch their loadout, that might be too good. Because if we look at the T-70s and the ARC-170s right now, albeit the ARC-170s that are mainly used are the SLs, but we have seen usage of Wolf custom. You'll see most of the loadout is like somewhere from a 7 to an 11 range, I think, at most. I think that's pretty reasonable for the B-Wing loadout for like a Braylon and 10 Nub. They can each have anywhere from, I think, 7 to 10-ish loadout seems reasonable. I don't know what may or may not break, but hey, we're about to hit Han a little bit, and I some more good firepower on the board seems fun, and they're not fast, right? They just plod along and do a lot of damage. Same thing as TIE bombers right now. T-70s are a little faster, obviously. They have boost. And ARC-170s, big medium bases that move forward, take up a lot of space really well, and survive in the chaos of the scrum time of the game. So yeah, just more than just Luke and Fenrir Fang, I guess, would be cool to have. And I mean, A-Wing's already really cool. Good to have Luke in the game again. All good things. I want to have a good B-Wing. We even have a solid Y-Wing in Hull Okan right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's niche reasons to bring Gina, but I want to push that over the edge. Give me good B-Wings.
I like it. Who should go next?
Looks like next we have James. What you got for Rebel?
I was also looking at the B-Wings. That's very interesting. But I wanted to actually look at the Y-Wings with Nora going down to 4. Whether or not she keeps her gunner, maybe not there, because that is a people don't like Y-Wings with gunners, evidently, unless you're in Republic. So, I mean, even if she lost that gunner slot, I think she'd still be a great ship at 4 points.
Something like trade the gunner for torpedo and just give her like 7 loadout.
Yeah, she doesn't have torpedo at all.
No, so bring her closer to like a Zori or a Cavill.
Yeah,
I don't
I would
think Cavill even has a forward-facing weapon.
I would say at least give her enough to take a ion cannon and a bomb or astromech. So, like, I would say 8. I would say 8, like 10 loadout.
10 loadout would also get you afterburners and dorsal.
That's not bad either.
Okay.
But you're not getting that an ion cannon though.
No, you're not double shot ion cannon out the front though, which I feel like is what's keeping her at 5 points, right?
Yeah.
That's
So I think
scary.
going down to 4 with no gunner slot and 10 loadout would be, I think, still a pretty good pick at 4 points.
Sure. Seems interesting.
You'd have 10 points with still to keep you take a bomb and a plasma torpedo, probably.
Yeah, I'd probably give her the torpedo back.
Yeah. Oh wait, does she have torpedo now?
No.
Oh.
But she's got 18 loadout, so you could.
She has 18 loadout, yeah. So right now you can really like ion cannon.
Oh, she doesn't get any secondary weapon out the front.
No.
I don't know why.
Well, her secondary out the front
because
is a double tap ion cannon turret.
Ion cannon, yeah.
That's honestly, I still think that's probably fine. We see that currently in Republic. They can do that with their Y wings.
Like honestly, because right now you can take
not like the 3-pointers, but some of them.
No,
you can.
yeah. Because right now you can take double tap and ion with R4 and afterburners, which honestly is a pretty spicy 5 points. Adding that extra evade is pretty defensive, but I think going down to 4 points and get no double tap would still be pretty solid.
Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking about the B-wings too, is that the second attack on the same target might be what's keeping them out of 4 points.
Yeah. But it's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, maybe take away the double cannon on them because they currently get double cannon, right?
Yeah, but you still put heavy laser on them.
You still can put heavy laser, yeah.
Something on there. Well, let's keep it moving to the next faction. Ryan, why don't you start us off?
Or did Marcel?
Oh, Marcel!
Dude, I do exist, man. Come on.
My bad. Marcel, say something about Rebels.
You are a rebel trying to.
I'm a maverick.
That's me.
It's true. I'm a reckless outlaw.
Well, since y'all want me to not give an opinion, I will watch the world burn. Let's break the faction. So let's do. You know what? The Hawks are not getting any love. So specifically, again, I want to watch the world burn. Let's make. I would make Rourke Garnet.
Yeah.
4 points. That way, he comes with 12 loadout and a free multi-crow title. So I really don't care how you load them up. Probably put a shield upgrade on them, or Kanan, Jara's crew to make whites, or Leia Organa to make a bunch of K-turns. But basically what it would do is it would give you different options to the Han Solo double tap. Because now you can, Rourke's ability is you make somebody initiative 7 at the start of the engagement phase. Which you can also have swarm tactics and have a second ship be initiative 7. So, for example, if you have Bodakai, you can have Bodakai shooting at initiative 7, then a second ship shooting at initiative 7.
I gotta stop you there. Let's read Rourke's ability. At the start of the engagement phase, you can choose one ship in your firing arc. If you do, it engages at initiative 7 instead of its standard initiative value.
Okay, so swarm tactics doesn't work.
No, it's the same thing of like heightened perception, where it doesn't change it. Still very good.
It still doesn't matter.
Bringing Bodica up to 7 would still be very powerful.
Well, it's bringing anybody up to 7. So, basically, the whole idea there is one, to give Hawk some love, but 2 is to give the lower initiative pilots. There's a lot of lower initiative pilots that are really good, but they just aren't chosen because of the fear that they're not going to get to choose. So I mean, we're talking Lebo, for example. Now you got an I-7 Lebo. So now you can throw Lebo on there. You can throw some of your initiative 2, initiative 3, initiative 4 ships, and it gives you a lot more confidence because you're gonna be shooting at initiative 7, so you're not, you're an alpha strike. And I think having that around at 4 points also kind of breaks the typical mold that we're seeing with all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do like him, Han, that's 11. So you can do something like him, Han, Luke, and another +4. And the other +4 could be basically anybody on the board shooting at initiative 7. You can get some plasma torpedoes out there. You can throw Corn Horn. Probably you don't do it with. But you can get Corn Horn out there throwing out target locks to any initiative. Or was Jansen jamming at initiative 7? That'd be fun. Yeah. I-7 jam.
Or just like anybody shooting a mag pulse, right? Tycho out there shooting a mag pulse.
Yeah, actually. Oh, my boy Tycho. We forgot about you.
Jake.
I mean, honestly, all of the Hawks could go down 1 point, and they'd be okay.
Yeah, but
we're
choosing
Janet 6 is a little.
Janet 5 is cool. Janet 6 is
yeah.
But yeah, I think Rourke is one that we haven't seen in forever. We've seen Jan Ors played here and there just because people like throwing around dice. We've seen Kyle Katarn because there's a lot of focus shenanigans, or focus to evade shenanigans. But don't see a lot of Rourke. I think he can. Anyway, so that's probably my tweak.
I like it. Dace has found success at 4 with Molded Crow, so it could be a similar situation. What's the next faction we're hitting up then? I think we're circling back to Ryan.
Yep, we have Empire.
Empire.
With the original trilogy here. Yeah, there's actually a lot of viable stuff in Empire right now. None of it feels that oppressive, really.
Really? None of
it. Bombers die, at least.
Oh, I'm not talking about
they trade really well. Oh, Vader? Are you concerned about Vader? I'm not. Is it Rack?
I'll wait for my turn.
Okay.
Oh, he's holding his back pocket?
That's fine.
It's gauntlets. Gauntlets are the problem.
Well, sure. But I don't care about the gauntlet in Empire. It can just not exist. Defenders are so boring. I don't care if they come. I would like one striker to be 3 points. Just like we have Larir at 3 points, I would like one of the strikers at 3 points. Now, I'm going to say it probably can't be Countdown, because, boy, that would be a value steal, I think. It probably can't be Sabak, because a 3-point ship that can fire 4 dice without needing a lock or anything special for a weapon, secondary weapon. So it's probably down to someone like Vagabond, but just doesn't get a mine for his bomb, so he won't have 4 points of loadout. Unless we think it's okay for him to run around at 3 points with a Connor net.
You could have maybe? You could have 5-point loadout. Yeah, choose between bomblet or Connor or thermals if he wants even more bombs to drop.
Yeah,
but yeah, maybe not. Definitely not proxy mines.
No, Jesus, no. Probably not even cluster mines.
Yeah, I would say cluster mines would be okay though. Like one time.
That's all
maybe.
You load out, right?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like you're saying, oh, this is a problem, but like Deathfire. Deathfire is launching them.
Deathfire is
a
little bit different.
But also Deathfire doesn't have a real gun.
True.
But yeah, I think right now, the only current striker that would make sense at 3 points that's not a generic would be Vagabond. You just got to lower his loadout. Now maybe in the future, when we get Battle of Scarif or something, like an SL striker, that could be 3 points. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, all the strikers are like actually like their abilities are not what's holding them back, right?
Oh, all their abilities are really good, actually.
Yeah. Whoever designed these, like every single one of them is like, oh, that is like a good ability. That is also a good ability. That is also a good. None of them are just like, yeah, they're all bangers on arrival. So.
Yep. I mean, or I'll throw this out there since I'm on the strikers. Are we okay with Duchess going down to 4 points if she loses loadout? We already have I5 T70s. Why can't we have an I5 striker at 4 points?
I mean, if she doesn't have, if she's got 11 loadout, so 11 she can't
loadout.
take fifth brother.
Basically, can't take fifth brother straight up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure, whatever. 11 or less loadout, sure.
Yep. Yeah. 11 loadout, and she's fine.
I mean, Elo can take
we think
BB-8, right? Like, so Elo can get pre-position. Any of the resistance ones can, but that is system phase, so a little bit not as powerful as Duchess. I think Duchess.
Are you okay with? Are you okay with Duchess having enough loadout for afterburners?
Yeah, I don't care about that. It's fifth brother. It's the double modified defense, like.
Yeah.
Lone Wolf.
Duchess can get to insane places with afterburners.
Good. That sounds way more fun. But
it does sound fun.
Me chasing down a Lone Wolf evading
Force.
Duchess seems definitely Predator then. Or Seismic, either one. But yeah, like this is the Duchess that deserves to be like 5 points. So as long as you can just like break that.
Yeah, so I think either 3 point Vagabond or 4 point Duchess, both with reduced loadout. Basically, so that Vagabond can't take at least Proximize and Duchess can't take fifth.
I would rather see 4 point Duchess.
That seems more fun. I do agree.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, what's the next ship we're looking at? Or pilot?
It's up for you, Will.
Oh, it's me. This is an interesting one. What was I? We could talk about bombers all day, but I think a lot of them are. You're right. Are in a good spot. I might actually talk about the gauntlets. I know you poo-pooed them, but there is something holding these ships back, and I don't know what it is. The addition of the illicit slots, so they can take contraband cybernetics when they're swivel winging around, is very helpful. But honestly, they're so bad comparatively to everything else in the faction that I almost could see them going down if they had either exploding in loadout cost, right? Being able to take those juicy force-using crew. I think right now, so Hark is my example, because he's only 6 points. That's a steal. But he's, I think, 1 loadout shy of taking Darth Vader and Contraband Cybernetics. So it's stuck with like 7th Sister as your force point. I feel like something's got to change in them. Probably 5 point. I mean, 5 point gauntlet can't be that bad. Or is that too chunky for that cost?
That is a lot of health.
5 points. Yeah, it sounds like something that is probably never worth the time investment to go kill because it takes so long to kill that 5 points. The issue with gauntlets has never been their survivability in most cases. They're comparable to decimators.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more about, like, can they output enough offense to make your opponent feel like they have to take it off the board? And most of the time, it's actually no. Most of the time, they're just a regular focus or single modded 3-die attack.
Yeah, like why would I focus on that thing if I can focus on anything else?
Interesting. So what do you think could make them better then? Is there maybe like a crew that could go down that could help them out? I mean, we've seen the Super Commandos kind of banned, soft banned right now, too expensive to be used.
I kind of like keeping them that way. Just the board clutter with them is so bad. And just
that's fair.
Like, oh, I'm gonna move it underneath your ship. Like, oh man.
Yeah, it was it was fine. It's fine in TTS, but
yep.
You start playing with it in Unreal tables, and it's just a problem.
I'd be curious to see Gar Saxon go down to 6. Like, I don't know if he should stay at 7, but maybe he would be considerable at 6 because he has a widespread effect.
Yeah, it's only.
Yeah, he's not just doing side slips.
Yeah, it is potentially every turn you can trigger their ability to get 1 extra dice. But it has to be in Gar Saxon's rear arc, which is where they're normally the least defensible. How would you say? Yep, I would say if not, but yeah, I could lose my bid for them being 5 points, but I would want them to have a lot more loadout. I want to see them be able to take these big crew, give them the second crew slot. What's the thing that gives them the second crew?
That's the mod, the drop seat.
The Mandalorian something.
Oh, the drop seat bay. Yeah, they did kind of nerf that out because they were getting too much crew, but I think it's the only thing that can make them more interesting is the crew. So
yeah,
maybe
I think
the balance between that.
You could even give them like 10 more loadout, and honestly, just make all of the commandos epic only.
Wow, that's a reach. That's a reach. Is that what you're gonna take for yours, James?
No, that is an interesting one though. No, but I feel like that's specifically Gauntlets. No, I am gonna go into Defender territory.
Oh wow. Okay. What are you looking at?
And taking Captain Dobbs down to 6 points.
Wow. Okay. What is holding Dobbs back right now?
I mean, he is just initiative 3. And when all of the defenders are 7 points except for Vader, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you're taking a 7-point defender, why would you not take like Rexler, Volt, Vessery, Riot, like all the other ones before you take Dobbs?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Dobbs going down to 6, I think makes interesting choice because now he's the same price as like Boy or Starter Vader.
True.
I think it's more so that it starts to fit with more things in lists, and when it's something that's the same cost as Vader, then and your opponent gets to try and figure out like which one do I go after. I mean, the same can be said right now with 7 cost Dobbs and 6-point Vader, but in most cases, people are probably gonna try and look at the rest of your list and then try and figure out okay. I mean, Dobbs realistically on off. I mean, that's the defender's problem has always been offense. Them living is always going to be a commonality, but them outputting damage for you to care about looking at them, same thing as the gauntlet, right?
I don't know. Vessery puts out good damage, and so does Rexler. He puts out meaningful. So Vessery puts out good damage, and Rexler puts out meaningful damage.
Mm-hmm. Sure, but I think the point of putting Dobbs to 6 points is is he's not as powerful as those other ones that
As those
might be
two, yeah.
made too much at 6 cost.
Yeah, I think putting Dobbs down to 6 and taking away his talent, so that way he can't juke.
Interesting. Now that does open up triple defender.
Yeah.
It does open
No,
triple defender, but
yeah, because he goes 677.
Yeah, 6,
yeah,
7,
but
7.
is it that much of a problem? You can still do triple defender, except one of them is Vader.
True.
You know what I mean?
I've flown that a few times now.
Oh, like
Yeah.
6-point Vader with 2
Yeah.
defenders. Yeah.
Yeah. Rexler, Volt,
Like
Vader.
Rexler, Volt, Vader. Yeah, and that is a not bad list.
No.
But I don't think I don't think 3 of them is if one of them is Dobbs with no juke.
Interesting. Yeah, taking away a
is
juke could be at the start to even having the 6-point be available.
Yeah. Or I'll say that's mine. I'll say 6-point Dobbs with no talent.
Okay.
Don't take mine.
Let's see.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I heard the or. I'm like, no, you said yours. You said one. You said one each.
All right, go ahead, Marcel.
What you got?
All right, so mine actually just is TIE Defender as well, obviously, because trying to avoid that or. It is going to the TIE Defender Elite title, making it -1.
I was about to suggest that.
Just making it -1. We're talking about their offensive output sometimes damages, but it's really tough to kill them. But yeah, just make that title -1, and then you've got your choice of including Vader. Vader at 8 with actually that's a kind of a scary one. Probably with Vader, you would need to give him 0 loadout, because an 8-point double tapping Vader, even without
what do you shoot first? You shoot the cannon first?
No, actually, you shoot the cannon first.
Yeah, after you shoot cannon missile, if you have a lock, perform bonus primary.
Yeah, because now you can't take a focus. You got to take a lock. So, Vessery, it makes sense with Vessery. It makes sense with Vader. But the rest of the guys, like Rexler's ability becomes, meaningless.
Yeah, Rexler hates it. Dobbs hates it.
Yeah.
I will say, if you've never been on the receiving end of Vader, Defender Elite Vader shooting you with concussion missile and his primary, he's just printing 3 hits twice on the same.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like Vader would need to be, down to 1 point, so all he can do is jam. Just give him the 1 point so he can jam, and then.
I hear you, Marcel, but I think they just need to split the configs.
Yeah, or just do Delta 7A, Delta 7B.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, 7. Yeah, with Delta 7, Delta 7B, and then that way they can actually fine tune some of those loadouts.
Yeah, but then it's not that one change. It's
I would say that's one change in that, because I don't think you can just do -1 loadout.
Yeah, because if you do just the -1, if you do the Delta 7 title as its own card, I agree, by the way, that it should be, but then you have to look at each pilot individually. Vader stays expensive. Rexler probably can benefit from additional loadout or additional or lower points.
Yeah.
Vessery probably, you nerf him a little bit, because now different pilots take advantage of that ability a little bit more. And again, without that free evade, these Vader, they're still 7 health, so they still have enough health as a T-70, but with 3 agility. So that there's at 6 points, there's still, without an evade, at 6 points, there's still just a 3 die attack, 3 agility, and 7 health.
They're like E-wings, right? With,
they should not be the same points, but then again, some T-70s are 4 points now, so you're talking about a 6-point ship. So yeah, I would say the TIE Defender Elite -1.
That would certainly spice up the faction for list building, get them out of this rigid 5-ship with bombers. Oh, could be interesting.
Yeah.
Why don't you take us?
Honestly, the only one I would probably take is Vestry. Is probably the only one I would take. In that case, like with at 6 points with the other title.
Sure, maybe. Well, why don't you start us off with Scum, though? What are you thinking about Scum? Got a lot of issues currently.
All right. So Scum, let's see. Well, I'm about to because I wasn't thinking about it, but let's see. Y-Wings, I don't care. Actually, I'll just go. Super easy. Wait, Han. So maybe okay, so not YT. I'm putting a pin on YT. Maybe the YTs. No gauntlets. No Han. No jump masters. No M3As. I know M3As could use it, but no M3As. No Rogue Ones. No. The assault chip maybe. The YT nah. The modified TIE fighter. They're a bunch of 3-pointers, so it don't matter. Yeah, let's go to the okay. Let us go to the Scapecraft autopilot drones. Make them 1 point.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Why? Because I'm looking at the YT 1300. And the way that they're loaded out, it's 5, 5, 5, 6. But they have a primary 2-die gun and only 11 health. Now, when you give them the autopilot drone at 1 point, that basically gives them 2 additional shields because they can borrow the autopilot's shields. And the shields you use when you want. So, for example, you don't have to use it when you have shields. You can wait until you're down to hull, and then a crit's going to come through, and it's like, well, I want to take that crit as on the shield. So you choose when the autopilot drone takes that. Additionally, then you have the ability to shoot that autopilot drone. Now that the average round count is probably like 6, you can shoot him out at turn 3 or 4, and he can go collect objectives. So it's kind of like we were talking about the commandos. At that point, he's not really a timer if you shoot him out round 4, because he's not going to die. So he can go out and do actions to collect points. He can become a coordinator. And so he can become an additional tool as part of it, and it makes all of the YT 1300s a little bit more viable. So instead of making all of them cheaper, you make him 1 point. Now you've got a coordinator when you need it. And by the way, you can throw him, coordinate, and then bump, and then just get back in. Like you can just use him to coordinate a few times, like emergency coordinates. Like there's a lot that you can do. And of course, he's also always a proton bomb.
So I like the idea, but I have only one logistical question for you. What happens when you lose those 2 shields and it's chance engagement? How do I get half of 1 point?
Well, you don't get half.
It's rounded down, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't get any points for taking the shields off.
No, you got the kills.
No,
that's an additional bonus.
No, he's talking about if the auto.
I get what you're saying. Like if you get half points.
Falcon.
Half points rounded down, it's still 0, huh? Okay.
Yeah, it's still 0. You either get the 1 point for killing them, or you get 0 points for half.
Interesting.
Which means like that's actually now you can bank a point in your YT if you never shoot them out, because you'll use his 2 shields and you'll never give up half
true.
points on them. So
interesting.
You're just pocketing a chance engagement point. And probably saving your YT from going into half.
Okay.
So anyway,
I mean, I could see it. I mean, they with a lot of the big Scum ships going down to 6, Han and Lando have a lot more competition at that point threshold. So makes sense to me. Who's next? Marcel. Who should go next?
Go, James.
Yeah, thank you, Marcel, because I was like, I need to do something with the Falcons, but it turns out the Falcon was not the problem. It was the escape-craft. Yeah, I think moving down the escape-craft would help the Falcons. But I actually wanted to look at the Razor Crest in a Mandalorian.
Ooh, okay.
So at first I was like, well, just taking them down a squad point, but I think at 5 points, Mandalorian gets really good.
Too good.
So if we tweaked it the other way, I think moving Mando, swap the loadouts for Mando and Q9. Like Mando goes up to
Loadout
16.
values.
Yeah. Mando goes up to 16. Q9 goes down to 10. I think that gives Mando a lot more room to build with, and I think some of the things that you can do with Q9 with a lot of loadout is pretty degenerate.
Well,
so...
they did take away Q9's double crew, so you can't reinforce.
Oh,
was
that the problem? Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the last update, Mandalorian went down to 6, but lost an incredible amount of loadout.
Yeah, I think he lost the most of like anybody, right? I remember.
Yeah, because he's struggling. You get like contraband and the child, and that's already
it.
That's it. You get your secret illicit too. So
you
like
get
false
secret
transponder.
illicit, yeah. So you get two illicits.
You get secret contraband if you want, and then take optics if you would prefer optics or Beskar. Yeah. But not a lot of options if you are committed to taking the child.
Man, if the Mando gets 6 more points, the first thing that stands out to me would be, all right, still keep the child, still keep Mandalorian optics, Razor Crest Sidle for my illicit, just Gar Saxon Gunner.
Yep.
Jeez. That Mando throwing 4 dice at all ranges potentially?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, because Gar Saxon is the remove a red token.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
or orange.
Or red or orange token. You're always in there with that or orange.
They exist.
So that would be funny to take like a Whispers jam. Like, thanks, I needed that. And then like, wait,
yeah,
I wanted that.
Yeah,
I wanted that for
like, my. But my agility.
My agility.
Imagine going from getting yourself to have an extra agility to back to your regular agility and giving them another red dice.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you only do that once in a game.
Someone didn't pay attention when they read the opponent's cards across from the table.
Yeah. But yeah, going up to that, it also gives moving up a little bit would also maybe get you in the range of getting Han Solo Gunner, which could also be a spicy upgrade. Because I think if you did that, you could take Child and Han Solo.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I'm not trying to stress my assault ship more than it needs to be, though. Let me tell you.
I mean, you get your free contraband. Stop complaining. Come on.
I'm reaching for
well, so think about it. If you get 6 more points, you could also just equip contraband and then have the Razor Crest be the other, like, whatever it could be.
Upgrade.
Yeah, it's likely false transponder goes to kill, but it could be anything else as well. And then you have 3 points left for probably a talent.
Yeah, can you put cloaking device under there?
No, because it's unique.
Oh, that's the thing. Okay, that's what it is.
But
that's why you can't hide
device as your base.
You can't hide Babu in there?
No. You gotta know if Babu's on board.
Non-limited. Yeah. Okay, that's what it is. I was like, there's something in there.
There's there's very few limited illicits, and yeah, I think it's just Babu and cloaking.
Yeah. But you could take
optics. Or not optics, fobs. Fobs are you can't hide that you have a fob either.
You can't hide your fob, yeah.
Well, it has an ad setup, so even if you could hide it, it wouldn't do anything. Wouldn't be helpful anyways.
Yeah. But you can still always hide that false, that hidden false.
You hide the false because it's free.
Yeah, but I think that would give Mando a lot of options and could actually let him use a lot of those cool Mando upgrades that we've been seeing with all the different fangs. But because he hasn't really had a chance to use any of them.
No, he's gonna usually get an extra mod too, so he can take optics and the Beskar.
Yeah, optics Beskar. Sure. And I would say give him see if we can get an extra crew in there, but I think that would be too much for him. The double crew.
Crew has been Scum's problem for a while.
Yeah.
The combinations of crew, very powerful.
Yeah. So I would say either just upgrade Mando's loadout value would be my suggestion.
Interesting. Who do you want to hear from next?
Will.
Me. Oh boy.
Is it also going to be Gauntlets?
No, it could be though. But no. I am looking at M3As. They are so good right now. They're so good.
Are they?
They're so cheap right now, is what I meant to say. The Anultra, or Leighton, not Anultra, Leighton, Quinjast, and even not Siege as much though, Sunny Bounder, but most of these two, Quinjast and Leighton, they're so good. They're getting buffs right now. Quinn got a cannon in addition to his hard point, so you could take that ion cannon plus I don't know, tracers if you want. But I feel like there's something missing with them, and to me, what the problem is that they can't boost. Nobody in Scum can naturally boost at 3 points. The only 3-point ships are Z's, Y-Wings, Escape Craft. I guess Scum has a bunch of 3-pointers, but none of them have linked actions, and none of them have boost, like your Contrail and your V-Wing, your A-Wings like Keo. They just don't have access to that. And I think the limitation of their 3-pointers is what's killing me for it. So, it might be bold, but I actually want to explode their loadout. Right now, if they take the ion cannons, they cannot take... Quinn can take burnout thrusters, right? But I want to see that increase to 14 loadout. I want to be able to take afterburners and ion cannons on them to be able to compete with other 3-pointers who are doing a similar thing, but doing it so much better than these ships. They already have so much, but I feel like people wouldn't reach for the afterburner. So if we gave them that much loadout, they would just go for like shield upgrades, something boring. So I'm not sure how to get them afterburners without giving them access to just like boring shields or something like that.
Did we specifically just say point change or loadout change? Or was it a card? Because then you can give them a unique card that allows a linked boost or a stress, because you don't want to go with a free boost. Mm-hmm. A linked boost or a stress at a cost.
I've been looking at a theory crafting, we'll say. Imagine a 2-dice cannon. It just says 2 dice, front arc, cannon. Okay? But it says you cannot shoot your primary weapon, and then big space, new ability. After you perform an action, you can perform a red boost action. So now, if you put it onto a 3-dice attack ship, like a B-Wing or something, right? They can't use their 3-dice primary anymore. So it'd really just be trying to fix like 2-dice ships who are trying to boost like these M3As. I don't know if any other ship who's taken a cannon would even want that sort of thing. But
well, it depends if you make it medium base or small base, because then you've
probably
got
small
a couple,
base only. Probably small base only.
Yeah, because I don't think you want a boosting. What are they called? A tie heavy, boosting tie heavy.
Well, you'd only be able to shoot its 2-dice cannon, though. It wouldn't be able to shoot anything else. So if it wants to go down to 2 attack dice, they could boost all at once. Maybe small and medium, though. Maybe we don't have like Bosk out there link boosting, even if he is shooting 2 dice. Well, what about you, Ryan? What are you going to put in for Scum?
I am going to target the customized YT-1300, the Falcon.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's blanket -1 to everything that's unique, making L3 4 points, Lando 4 points, and Han 5 points, or if it's just
4
put
points,
Han down to 5. I'm not sure if AMG believes and has tested out to see if large bases at 4 cost is too good in general, no matter what its potential attack value is, being a minimum of 2. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, there is no 4 cost big base in the game, right? It's just 5 is the lowest with Manaroo and others.
5 for Manaroo. I can't even think of another 5-point large base. Oh,
well,
Star
Fortresses.
L3
Lando and the.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and Star Fortresses. But I think Han could be 5 points and lose some loadout, and I think it would be okay. I don't know how much loadout, but
is there something you'd want to prevent on Han? Like a certain loadout threshold that would make him currently too powerful?
I think I'd make him choose between taking a Force crew or some of the key upgrades he would want. Like, example, I'm not sure if he should be allowed to take Force crew and trick shot, right?
Oh yeah,
granted. And I'm thinking just general, because trick shot is the thing. One of the main things he wants the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that statement stands true if it's the child, though.
Right.
That maybe that's the only Force crew, plus still giving room for some decent upgrades he would want. But I think something like Maul or Ahsoka Tano or Savage Opress. So it sounds like with that and trick shot, we're probably looking at a 5-point big base Han with 13 points of loadout as being the highest I would go, because 14 allows trick shot and a regular Force crew. And that still might, like, I'm not sure, that might still be okay if that's all you can take, because you don't get like engine upgrades, so all your boosts at I6 are now red, right? Like, that might not be a good thing.
Oh, at 14 points, you can do trick shot, Kira, and root cast, which basically means you target lock an obstacle, so you get all the bonuses. Because Kira, it's a red target lock, so you get the free convert to focus, and you get trick shot. So you're throwing basically like 4 or 5 dice against a regular defense. So I mean, 14 points, you can do a lot with Han. I mean, Han's you don't always need a Force user with Han. Like, he's pretty good, but at 6 points with competition, he's just not competing.
Yeah, like, whatever the loadout is, I want it to be like we have in the T-70s right now. There's a lot of viable options, but there's no clear-cut answer that clearly is head and shoulders above everything else. I know that's difficult to do. Eventually things will start to creep up as like the likely better choice, but I just don't want him to easily be like Force crew, trick shot, engine upgrade, and an Elysium. Right? I don't want all that. Right. I want him to pick like 2 or 3 out of that list, and maybe one of them's not even optimal. but it's what you can have.
Sure. I like the sounds of that. I mean, with the Rebel Han doing so well, it has been a long time since like large bases, I think, have been like scary. Until now, like Decimators and Han have come out of the woodwork. So it could be a cool spot for Scum as well. I think that's everybody for Scum. So why don't we start with Resistance? James, what do you got in Resistance? Decrease everything, 3-point T-70s?
All the T-70s back up to 5, where they belong.
Wow.
Yeah, loud noises over here. Man, I really want to do something with the couch. But man, they're all the ships are in a good spot except for like the couch and the pod now. So let's see. I mean, is it even possible to bring down Kova to 4? Is that even a thing
if
you can do?
If you took away Leia.
But that's the only thing that's keeping Kova even like relevant, right?
Yeah, it's
How many points is Leia?
It's the build of Leia at 14 and taking up the crew.
I don't know. It doesn't seem insane if Kova only gets Leia at 4 points.
I mean,
I don't even get R4 or anything.
I mean, I think, yeah, it's the R4 really does mess with it because it's like printed because you can do like the one hards for free. So what if you just had like
in that?
Usually heroic
R4 Leia. They still got 2 points. I don't know. I thought
I would go R4 Leia proton cannon.
Oh, there's enough room for that. Oh,
yeah, that's what you get now.
Cans.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, honestly though, if you just had Leia and 1 2-point upgrade, I think that would be like Leia R4. I think that would still be 4 points, 4 squad points.
That's pretty powerful.
But I mean, like, Ella is sitting over there doing
I think
doing the same thing.
If you forced them to do more like pattern analyzer shenanigans, so their ability was like every other turn instead of every turn.
Or you had to take Leia on somebody else.
Or you had to lay on somebody else, which is a commitment, because I think you had to go up to a Falcon to do that.
So at that point, all you got to do is take off the other crew slot, right?
Yeah, just drop the other crew.
So drop the crew, bring your loadout down to like 15, down to 4 points.
It could be pretty good.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, she does have a tech, so she could be doing the pattern analyzer shenanigans.
Right. And you still rock that proton cannon.
Yeah, you still get R4 proton cannon, pattern analyzer, and then if we were talking about like 4 point, like 15, you could do like Chewbacca. That's not terrible.
No, I like the sounds of that. Yeah, Hulk.
Yeah, so R4 Chewie proton cannon pattern analyzer. I think that's a pretty solid contender for 4 point. I mean, like the 4 point ship.
I mean, if you could, if you could time it right to where you're hitting proton cannon and then pattern analyzer 3 dice primary next turn proton cannon.
Right? I mean, yeah. The only problem with the proton cannon is the no repositions, but I mean,
yeah, could be. Yeah. I mean, the couch is going to need something to compete with T-70s at 4 points, so I like that idea. Bring Kova into the mix.
Yeah.
All right.
That's cool.
Who's up next?
Marcel.
This is for Resistance, right?
Yeah. What do you like or dislike in Resistance?
The variety, lack thereof.
Well,
this is a tough one actually. So let's see. I think Lulo is good. ZZ, I'm afraid to do anything with ZZ, but 5 points is way too much for her. Sefton, I think these ships just don't compete with when you have T-70s at 4 points. Outside of Lulo, like none of them really compete. So I would like to see more of the A-wings down to the 3-point range. But we said only one. Like there's a few that can be 3-pointers. Suralinda definitely could be 3-pointer.
I was just looking at her.
Ronith,
she's the one with the cannon. So maybe
she can be a 3-pointer.
Her cannon to do it, but yeah.
Ronith can be a 3-pointer. I would even argue Greer can be a 3-pointer. Lulo, Sefton, and Tally at I5. But even then, like, because you have I5 already, 3-point I5s out there, with 2-die guns. But all right, so that's probably where I would lean, is in the A wing and at 3 points. But it's got to be something meaningful. Yeah, let's go with actually let's go nuts. Let's go. That sounds gross.
Okay.
Actually, let's go Sefton at 3 points.
Ooh, so that's what I had in my mind. If you gave them only like 4 loadout, so you
no, I'm keeping the same loadout.
What?
Give them a procket. 4-point I5 procket at 3 points. Actually, just 8. Give them 8 points, so you can't take anything else. Just lower them to 8 points. Sefton with 8 loadout. He can either take 8 procket or he can take
like Predator Crackshot or something.
Yeah, like Heroic or Predator Crackshot, or something with the tech slot, which is like some Ferrosphere. Or Advanced Optics, actually. Yeah, you can just go Advanced Optics Predator. And that way you have a pretty solid gun. But at I5, like Advanced Optics, you usually want to keep your focus for defense anyway. Yeah, so I'll do that. And Sefton down to 3 and 8 loadout.
Wow. That would certainly shake up the Resistance formula.
Not really. I mean, you would just replace current 3-pointer with this 3-pointer. The rest would stay the same.
Maybe. Who hasn't gone then in Resistance?
I have not yet.
Okay, what are you looking at?
A lot of it feels really solid. Nothing like overly oppressive, I guess. And I don't know if that's. I mean, yes, they have really good forecasters. Some of the best, maybe, in the game. But they're not they're beatable, not unreasonable to defeat a 5-ship resistance list. The quote, 3x plus 2 baseline. And the Falcons seem okay costed. I think I'm gonna look at Chewie though, and I don't know if him in the 6-point slot, if they felt like, oh, this was too much to let him have this combination. But I'd really like to allow him to get Ray Gunner and Notorious back. He's 1 point away from being able to do that with a minimum Dead Man switch and Notorious. Right now, you can only choose one or the other between Notorious and Ray Gunner. I'd like him to get both of those back. Maybe that's too much, but I like Chewie, and I want him to get the cool loadouts together. That makes sense to me, to make him, to bring him back to maybe some of his original glory. But like, if it's only 1 more point of loadout, so be it. If it's 2 more points of loadout, then he gets like contraband or overtune modulators. Probably contraband. But enough room for both Notorious and Rey.
Interesting. Mine is real simple. It's not a pilot. It's actually an upgrade. But I see it in every single T70 list, and it's just very, very powerful. For only 4 points right now, R6D8. While you perform an attack, you can roll a number of attack dice up to the number of friendly ships at range 0 to 3 that have the defender in their bullseye. So it's squad predator. Anybody in your squad has a bullseye lined up, you get a reroll. This has just been a fantastic way to get these cheap T70s to have double modded attacks. And everybody can take it at 4 squad or 4 loadout cost. Anybody, except for maybe Jess, who doesn't take it anyways. But, oh man, if I can get to a 4 point, they're going to keep giving me the same ones. Nimi loves it. Already has rerolls, or already has some modifications, so could use even more. Timon loves it as well. Even I've seen 9s with it, even a 5-point ship, because it's such minimum loadout cost. You can slot in pretty much every ship. I would probably put it up to, dare I say, 7 points to lock it out of a couple combinations with other ships. I don't know if I could price it out above these T70s, because a lot of them have like 9 loadout. I don't think the droid's probably worth 10 squad points. But it's clearly like undercosted for what it can do, providing like 2 or 3 rerolls for you, basically every attack. Very, very powerful. So bump it up so it can't be combined on these cheap T70s with a couple of the other upgrades that they like. What is the other droid that they use a lot?
M9.
9G8?
M9G8. Yeah, only 5 points right now. That's also in
I
my
think-
list of things
I think
that
both-
should go up.
I think both of those could go up to 6.
I was thinking that, yeah, if they were the
Yeah.
same as R2D2, I think I
Yeah.
don't auto take R2D2 in that case. I still think there's a discussion for all
Mhm.
3 of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's funny because the Resistance has such a plethora of different droid options.
They got so many.
Uh,
They got collision detector one. They got one
Bucket.
where you could heal your cards. You have system phase barrel rolls as well that are options. So I just feel it's boring to just be like, well, I'll take the offensive reroll.
There's a reroll your defense dice droid.
Yeah, I think what is that? You spend your lock. Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
R2. Ha.
Ha!
Get you.
You have to yell ha when you use it. It's a mandatory rule.
Yeah. So you spend your lock to modify your defense dice.
Yeah.
Reasonably priced at 3 points, but
Yeah.
not
Honestly,
seeing play.
like, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I mean, I think it's interesting, but with R4D6 and M9G8 just a couple points away, it's not even on the table. I don't think the problem is the T70s. I think they're interesting, but the amount of upgrades and flexibility they get is pretty
Because
astounding.
they get an astromech, they get heroic, and they get
talent.
and they get the parasphere. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So something to hold them back. Though I think it's just the sum of all the parts. All right, but that was Resistance. We got 3 more to go. So let's move on to the First Order. And first in the First Order, Ryan, what are you thinking about for First Order?
I think I'll take care of the obvious one. I think they need a 2-cost ship. Just join the party. Every other faction is a 2-cost ship, except First Order. Now the question is which one?
And why is it Malorus?
Malorus, yes, let's go.
No. So our already simple caveats. It's not going to be Malorus. It's not going to be any FO that can generate a 3-die primary attack. So not DT, not Scorch, not any of them with cannon slots currently. We can discuss what my other thoughts are potentially. Not Midnight. We're not doing I-6 2-pointer. Not Muse.
I-7.
Probably not either.
I mean, no with no loadout?
I mean, that would be pretty thematic if Null had 0 loadout.
Yeah, 0-0.
Can I?
Muse is probably, its effect is probably too good for 2 cost.
Can I
a lot of people point at.
Can I put a suggestion in there?
Yeah.
What do you think about a 2-point Zeta Squadron pilot?
Oh, just make it generic?
Just the I-2, though. You don't get the I-1 or the I-3 at that cost. Because right now, I mean, they have loadout, but they're they're abysmal right now. With the amount of named FO pilots, you will never get to the point where you would need a generic.
I mean, the 3-point cost right now, there's nothing you can even really even put on it that makes sense to use for 3 points anyway. So maybe.
Apparently, the Omega has 4 slots and 4 loadout, talent, tech, and 2 different mods, which I don't even know what. I don't even know what you're putting in 2 different ones. Baffle.
You can put them in there. You can fill it.
And the Precision Ion, which does nothing, but you can equip it. And not that I'm trying to make generics better or anything, but as a suggestion for a potential pilot to go down to 2 points.
Lingava, the newer one. I mean, maybe since all she's there to do is give friends slam that don't disarm, they damage themselves for it. That might be too much.
I think it's a little bit too good. Yeah, I was thinking either static or Tina, but
so I was gonna get to some of the bigger ones. A lot of people think about Tina, but man, will I almost always trade my 2-point ship to throw a mass amount of crits at my target.
That is true. Maybe not making the ship you want to throw away 2 points.
Yeah, so let me put it this way. What if you only had to spend 2 squad points? And as long as that 2 pointers on the board, your entire faction has Ruthless but for crits.
But for crits. Ugh.
Right? That's actually pretty crazy.
More times if the rest of your team is
if they're all the same initiative, just keep piling damage on.
Yeah, if you put it at 1 health the turn before, and then you come in and you just do it 4 or 5 more times.
Because you imagine Malorus's cluster missile, Kylo's cluster missile, quick draws, quick draws attacks.
We've seen Revis at 2 points in the past, and it might be okay, but its effect can synergize well with other stuff in the list, in other FO lists, which I don't think is a bad thing, right? It should be allowed to do something, but I think James was getting to maybe a solid option, which is static, and he just loses his cannon slot.
I would say lose the cannon slot, and then enough 2 points. You get to choose.
You get fanatical, proud, or fanatical
proud. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Static with reduced loadout and no cannon, or I think Revis is probably.
Yeah, I would prefer static because I think static is actually pretty fun. Pretty cool, and also Revis with with Lahuse around, with Lahuse existing,
6 points for that combo is pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I think you're onto something there, but I do think that it should be static.
Next up is James.
Well, you're just a big jerk, Ryan, because that was going to be mine. It was going to be Statica too. So turn order got me there. But
I rode better than you.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at. I was like bombers. Like all I need to do is make it to where the 3-pointers can't have.
They got 3-point bombers.
I know. I know. I just make sure that they can't take electroshaft. And I was like, oh,
sure.
they already can't.
They already can't,
Okay,
yeah.
so then let's just give more loadout to the 4-pointers. Like they already do. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
ridiculous amount of loadout. 15 and 13.
I was like, yeah. I was like, bombers. Like I don't know if there's anything else that you can do there. I was like, all right, Zeiss. Let's make some 4-point Zeiss.
Totally think there's a bomber you can do something with. We have 4-point Zori right now. Why can't we have 4-point Breach?
True.
Yeah, that is true. I just don't think Breach's ability is good. Besides saying I'm I5.
Yeah, so a lot of I5 stuff is 4 points now.
Yeah. You could do that. And I think that's probably what I'm gonna have to do. But like Zeiss already all have 4-point ships, and they already have loadout. So
yeah.
I'm actually gonna target a upgrade, and that is going to be Proud Tradition to 3 points.
I'm
a little bit. I'm a little bit tired of Proud Pattern. Stop it.
Look,
pay
all you
for
have to do is pay it to flip it to False Tradition, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So die or spend a focus.
Yeah,
is
just
that
spend
right?
a focus or take a crit.
Yeah. So I would say Proud to 3, because I've seen False one time ever.
Okay, I like that.
And I
kind
think
of
it is.
widespread effect.
It is very good.
Interesting stuff.
And it's taken on almost every chassis. Like I say, I've seen it on Zeiss. I've seen it on.
Well, it's good.
It's good. So yeah, mine is
high quality.
High quality. Yeah, I'll say Proud to 3. Marcel, you got one for us before you run off?
Well, I might. If I hop off, all of a sudden I hop off. All of a sudden, I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm not gonna bring something up. I'm gonna bring something down. So I am going to bring down the sensor buoy.
Ooh,
sweet.
Buoy.
I am going to make it free. So
okay, you're getting out of control.
Free.
No, free sensor buoy. The only ones that can take it basically are the Psy-class light shuttles. So yeah, so it basically gives all the same thing with like the Scum, like making autopilot 1 point helps all the YTs. Basically giving the any side shuttle gets a free sensor buoy. So that way it just kind of incentivizes a little bit. Two things. It incentivizes taking them a little bit more, but also it incentivizes like people trying to think of ways to build with like feedback ping and other things that take advantage of the sensor buoy being out there. So I think it'll just push a little bit of creativity. So if it's just like a one change, that probably where I would go.
Okay.
That's interesting. That's pretty spicy. I would say maybe 1 or 2 points.
Nope. Free.
Okay.
No,
free.
highly recommended at free. Must take it. Free, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It turns out maybe a little bit better than jamming beam. At free.
I mean, I could get behind that because the sensor buoys innately don't do anything but give a free lock, and it's after you attack, or no, it is before you engage.
it's before you engage, but it's before, and it could be destroyed, and it's before.
Yeah.
What is it? Before you engage, you may acquire a lock on a ship at range 0 to 1 of a friendly sense, but mostly it's there. In most situations, it's there for mixing it with the biohex codes, so you can get your
because
jam set up.
It says a ship. Doesn't say enemy ship. You can lock your
Yep.
friendly if they fly next to that.
Oh, you can lock your friendly to coordinate at a long range, or you can lock an enemy to jam at long range. But also, again, it kind of triggers the feedback ping on the bombers, so then the bombers have a reason to, show up and throw some ordnance around. So,
interesting. Yeah. Well, for mine, I got a spicy take. Currently, there's only 4 different costs for ships in FO. There's 3, 4, 5, and 7 for Kylo Silencer. Now, Whisper Kylo is so good at 5 points. I want Kylo Ren Silencer down to 6 points. No. And he keeps his talent.
No. Oh, no.
Yes. I played against a Debris Gambit one, which I thought was very interesting. Lose your offense a lot, obviously, but combined with like Malice or something, it was actually very, very scary. I forget what the tech was. Maybe it was primed. I forget what it was. Actually, I think it did have munitions on it. But it's Kylo in that silencer is like so iconic, right? And as good as Kylo is right now, because what is the I don't think it even includes the talent, but it was like instinctive aim, proton torpedo, and I think it was advanced optics. So basically, doing what Kylo Whisper was doing with concussion missiles, but doing it with proton torpedoes for Kylo. I guess that does give you 3 points for Lone Wolf if you would like, or Predator, either one.
Can I slightly adjust this?
What's wrong? How much
everything about it.
How much loadout? This is like to me. This is a scary loadout. You could do a lot of other things, but like to me, this is a scary loadout. So maybe one loadout, something that breaks this combination at least.
Yeah. Can we make a standardized version of 6-point Kylo?
Ooh, okay.
I mean, I would expect that to happen when we get our first sequel.
Right. I think we will. Like maybe with was he even at Dakar?
No.
Oh, he was eventually.
I thought the first one was going to be Starkiller Base.
Did they say that?
I thought so. People are saying in the past. I know Dakar wasn't one of them, but I think there was people saying, "Oh, it could be Battle of Mexico." I'm like, I was pretty sure they said Starkiller.
Yeah, I would rather they do Dakar. That way you get the resistance bomber.
Mm-hmm.
You get
A-wing.
You get a lot. You get A-wing. You get a lot more ships besides.
It would be and the transports too.
And the transports. So many different options for at least for resistance. Even more for FO. But I think if we get a 6-point standardized, I think that would go a long way to give him the Vader treatment. Of like, yeah, you can take that 7-point Vader. And you're going to get a lot of cool toys. You're going to do a lot of cool things, but you're going to be limited in the rest of your squad. So do the same thing here. Give him a 6-point standardized with maybe like mag pulse missile or advanced proton, something like that. And no crazy combinations like debris gambit.
Interesting. Can I propose his ability?
Yeah, I would love to hear it. Yep.
Gain a strain, change a blink to an eyeball.
Gain a strain to change a. I would say take a step further and do, while you perform a primary attack, gain a deplete to change a. No, because
Deplete's not Kylo style.
Yeah. Strain. Yeah, to change a strain, to change a blink to an eyeball. So it's not even to. It's not even to like a good a result that's immediately usable. Okay, yeah.
No, you still have to use the Force somehow or spend your focus token or something. But it would essentially give him like a way to negate blank outs on evasion. But you had to risk it though. Now you're strained. Like if there's a follow-up shot or something. So a little bit more risky play style for Kylo.
Is that angry Kylo?
Angry
like
Kylo, willing to just like
punch himself to get more power.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. You remember in Force Awakens where he's like beating his hurt chest to get more angry? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something with like him not pulling the trigger on the attack on Leia's ship, but I couldn't think of anything that was like maybe you could like take a weapons disabled to do something.
That would be like Scorch's like bomber ability, like cancel a hit to strain them or something like that. It's kind of what you're describing.
Yeah.
Or like you may take a deplete for some positive effect for you.
Oh, okay. Like take a deplete and
to gain an evade.
To gain an evade token?
Evade token. Start a combat.
Oh.
But that's kind of like patience though at that point. So.
Yeah. No, it's on attack. It's on a.
When you attack. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Before you attack, you may gain a deplete to get an evade token.
Maybe. Wait, make it an evade action. So you can link off of it.
I don't know about that because then you're getting focused. Yeah, you're getting focused, and then
Fair enough.
I mean, you could make that standardized version sensitive controls, and that would give it a lot less power.
Okay.
6-point sensitive controls. That's.
Would that be more comfortable in your?
That would be way more comfortable.
Your knee would unjerk itself there.
Unjerk itself, yeah. I did a little knee jerk. It's just I've played against like good ace players playing Kylo, and just playing like this is like more in 2.0, but like playing keep away, and it's just like cool, good game, and it's like 15 minutes in. It's like I'm never gonna see you again.
That's kind of what a good example of that correction to me was Soontir, where they made him previously he would just like take a bunch of actions, get focus evade or whatever, or like I'm pretty sure it was focus evade in the previous version. But now they made it bullseye only, so he can't get these free defensive abilities while running away. He has to be in the fight. So something like that for Kylo. Just like something where it gives him a bonus, but only if he's attacking.
Yeah. I like that before you roll attack dice. Like to where you're always...
right, you can't just be boost and barrel roll and get out of town and rely on some ability like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I do like I made on 6-point Kylo if he is stuck to standardized with sensitive.
Sure. Okay. Well, why don't you start us off for Republic then, Lana? A lot going on in Republic these days.
There's a good amount. Let me take a look. You know what? Mine's gonna be I'm just gonna steal it straight from underneath. Marcel here. Anakin down to 4 points.
I was already clicked on it.
In the N1. Yep. You already got me. Am I not predictable?
Predictable.
Yeah. And honestly, just like you could even like take away the torpedo slot. I don't even care. Just give me Anakin at 4 points.
I mean,
what if he could run? Hold on. What if he has to choose between running passive sensors and plasma? Well, that's only 10 points actually. Well, what if he gets 12 and he has to choose between just regular proton torpedo or passive plasma with 2 points.
Sure. Yeah. I'm literally just like saying whatever it is that gets him down to 4. Yeah, you can give him 5 loadout for all I care, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough.
I assume you would care a little bit though.
No,
I mean,
he needs a passive.
Yeah,
he needs a passive torpedo. So, and passive. Yeah.
I would even say like, yeah, I would say
17.
like 14 at a minimum. Does that like passive advanced?
Passive advanced sounds fair at 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get nothing else.
Wait.
What were you saying?
Wait.
17 for, Marcel? What were you looking
at? He wanted.
I was looking at passive proton. Or
okay. No.
Passive plasma juke.
Oh no.
No, don't give him passive protons.
No,
just
passive
have him have
juke.
to choose between regular protons or passive plasma.
We want him to have all the goodies.
Oh yes, yeah. 17. 17 is. I think that's a no-go number for me.
No.
No,
I like the idea,
no.
but not juking out there. Ugh, no thanks.
Yeah, you can even still take R2C4 at that point, and like there's no 2-point upgrades he can take. What?
Fire control.
No, if you already have passive plasma R2C4,
Well,
and there's no 2-point upgrades you can take.
Then you messed up. You done messed up taking marksmanship.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've never seen not being able to take 2-point upgrade before.
2-point talents have really came out of favor.
Yeah, it's one or 3 really, huh?
1 or 3. All right, well, let's keep it moving here. So let's move on to who's next for Republic.
Looks like it's Marcel again. He's still hanging around.
Yeah, I'm still here, and you took my. All right. So now that is taken care of. Let's go to the. I don't care about Y-wings.
I just made it. I gave you an option. That was the choice.
That was the choice. All right. So let's see. Let's make somebody 3 wings. All right, so let's do another 7B. So we got 2 7Bs after. Those are. You know what? I'm gonna go generic just because. Because why not? They can use it. So I'm going to go with the Jedi Knights. So the Jedi Knights in the 7B down to 5 points each and keep them at 8. So keep everything the same. Just get them down to 5 points so that if you do want to run, that's still not good enough. Like
I was going to say, how does I mean? There's already Barris and Mace, so you're just getting like 2 more.
Yeah, they're not very good.
Can I one small suggestion?
Yeah, do something.
Go the Delta 7 down 1 point.
Yeah. Oh, get them down to 3 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that, but that might be a little bit too.
Take away their CLT.
Okay. I mean,
yeah. Give them the all oops. No Mace, no CLT on Mace treatment. Well, he definitely didn't notice that one on the first pass.
I like that, but okay, since because I still don't like the idea of having a bunch of 3-point Jedi, so I'm gonna say we're gonna go Barris Ophi down to 3 points.
Okay.
So Barris down to 3 points, and she keeps her laser.
And I was like, Barris needs a CLT if you're taking down 3 points.
So it's gonna be Barris down to 3 points, keeps her calibrated laser.
Didn't we have her at 3 points at 1 point?
Yeah, but she could also
take instinctive aim and concussion.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's why she was very popular at 3
and
points.
Contrail was 2 points. It was like the best 5 points in the game.
I do remember that. That was a fun little season.
No,
But
no.
I will take it. So Barris down to 3 points, but also take her loadout down to 4 points.
Yeah, I was like, no chopper, please.
No
chopper.
No chopper, no R2D2, no none of the main good stuff. So so just Barris at 3 points and 4 loadout value. I think that should be because with 4 that gets you everything.
You can still take R4P17 there, so I would maybe say 3 points.
Yeah, R4. I mean, I don't mind Barris with R4P17. I mean,
someone else isn't taking it then, right?
Yeah, that means you're not bringing.
Click or something, not Click, but the other guy, Contrail.
Yeah.
So I would just say Barris down to 3 points with a 4-point loadout.
Okay,
I think would be
interesting.
I'm super in on that. What do you think about that, Ryan?
I mean, we have Keo, so
yeah. What the heck, Keo's out there doing missiles?
They're throwing rockets.
Yeah,
and side slooping.
We can't have the worst Jedi out here at 3 points. I think we can. I think that's okay. Good pick.
All right, William.
Oh, on to me. Well, I'm gonna play spoiler. We're gonna have fun imagining cheaper ships all day. But to me, if you got Siege of Coruscant in your name, I don't think you should be allowed to be 4 points. So all the arcs, Oddball, Jag, and Wolf, bump them up to 5 points. I'm trying to think of, it's the Torrent. The 3-point SOC Torrents, I'm going to allow. I was
the Barrage Rocket and the other guy.
Yeah, Barrage Rocket and the Diamond Boron. I would accept that. I think we need to get out of that funk of like having to requiring the arcs. It might be a beaten record right now, but I just want to encourage. There's so many versatile line troops, right? Like going out there jousting. Specifically the Torrents. Torrents are just they should be filling that role that like bombers fill right now, that T-70s are filling.
But instead arcs are filling.
Yeah, but arcs are doing it almost exclusively right now. I can't get these Torrents any cheaper, right? You're offered Axe and Kickback at 3. Slammer is apparently 3. I forgot that was the thing. You can slam even while stressed. Wow. That'd be pretty crazy. Because you could slam and clear your stress? What? 3K, 3 forward, and end up unstressed. Could you perform an action then?
Yeah, I think you can do...
I guess so. Wow. I mean, you'd be stressed, or you'd be weapons disabled, but... I would like to see these get thrown in more list. Like how 3-point bombers have been, like how the 4-point T-70s have been. Anything to get us off of this arc. Because it with the SOC, because honestly I wouldn't even mind. Like Oddball, Wolf, they could Jag, they could all stay 4 points. For their customizable version, but that extra utility of Born for this is like too much in my opinion. Being able to both get free offensive mods and be able to support others in defense as well. Too versatile. Plus you get to see the role as well. If Born for this would have been like before they defend, they could, send them a focus token or something like that. But the fact that you could wait to see if they need the token first and then be able to spend it. There's also no arc requirement either. They don't have to be in your side arcs like dedicated. They don't have to be in the attack arc even. Well, I think you actually do have to be in the attack arc for Born for this. No? Nope, you don't even have to be in the attack arc for it, which I think would be like a much more fair ability, because at least they're choosing not to shoot at the Born for this ship. They're choosing to shoot at a second one, right? So there's 2 uncapped for what I think, and that might be the only way to get them the Republic looking at these Torrents, looking at Z95s that aren't just a 2-point slider out there. But I guess apparently I gotta try out Slammer more often. What's his missile? He's got double missile, huh? Can he barrage? He can barrage. Well, what are we doing? Why are we flying 6 points of barrage slammers? We gotta be looking into it more often.
Because he still, there's no way to get rid of the disarm.
Well, I mean, you can still shoot barrage rockets if you focus up.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You can also get synchronized or munitions or Deadeye shot. Or Mark Sable. You can Mark Sable someone twice in a round.
Was slamming him through it? I don't know.
Yeah.
That seems ridiculous.
You get 3K, hit somebody with it, and 3 forward.
Yeah.
Or 3 forward, 3K. Yeah.
What's another? Is Matchstick also 3 points? Yeah. Look how chunky. Look how chunky this list could get. 3 Torrents, 3 Y-Wings, and a Z95. That's chunk right there. But don't.
What's the math? What's the math on taking 8 ships? You have to take 4. 2-pointers?
You have to have 4 2-pointers, yeah, for that to work. So it's gonna be hard to do that outside of the generic ones.
Yeah, outside of Separatist.
Yeah, pretty much. What about you, Ryan? What are you tweaking in the Republic?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff in pretty fair places. I mean, there's one ship that's like almost never used, but the LAT is like a whole design difference that I want for it to accomplish. Like right now, I'm looking at it like, all right, if I could pick just one of these pilots, and then one of them is just kind of like through combination of loadout cost and slots available, just becomes the actual gunship LAT, not just the I carry 7th Fleet Gunner and I'm disarmed and I give someone else a better die and just give you rerolls for your attack. Like I want the like this thing is coming with all its guns to like destroy as many things as possible and help the fight. And I don't, without like just taking the gunner slot completely away, so I can still put a ton of loadout on it and make it, barring this, make it 5 points as well. And then
the problem is that they use the gunner slots for a lot of their damage, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's actually true, but there's utility in their gunner slots because like you're not getting, like you have a force gunner with Ahsoka. You're not getting much more damage besides if you're running, I guess, Ghost Company, which is both crew and gunner slot.
Yeah, it's the Ghost Company and Wolfpack, which are possible. I guess Wolfpack is more. But also, I mean, I like the Ghost Company Hotshot. That's fun.
Yeah. But so I think like, if I could make a LAT into like a 5-point, I'm bringing this for guns, I'd oddly make it Warthog right now, because otherwise he has no use. But if he gets to always shoot, no matter if he dies earlier in the round, that kind of makes him like the I'm always going to shoot my target type of thing. And if you just get rid of the gunner slots, but you like keep the torp maybe maybe have 2 missiles, 1 torp, and you keep your 2 crew, and you keep your talent, and maybe get 2 mod slots or something. So you swap one of the gunners for a missile, and you swap one of the gunners for another mod, and then you just
I didn't even
5
realize
points.
that Warthog has a torpedo.
He does, yeah. So like, if
Wow.
you had 2 missiles, you could do like C-3PO crew, multi-missile pod, which I'm just going to put in for thread chasers because they're both 4 points. You could do plasma torp, and then let's say they gave enough loadout to take wolf pack, right? Plasma torp, wolf pack, multi-missile pod, C-3PO. I don't know.
Wolfpack and
maybe.
Ghost both require the gunner
Oh, wolf pack requires gunner too.
as well.
Fix those. make one of them just be like brew or something. I want this to work so we don't just get 7th Fleet Gunner Lat again.
Or yeah, in that same vein, the Corky shenanigans too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? You just say this is a world where we ban 7th Fleet Gunner.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. Like, I'm basically I want a Lat to exist at 5 points with enough loadout to be a real gunship, but not at the same time just be relegated to, all right, you're 7th Fleet Gunner carrier, have fun. Like,
I mean, to
shoot.
To counterpoint your suggestion, I have seen Sicko loaded out with barrage rockets, saturation salvo, 5s. So if you miss, you can get bank a focus token, and then either your choice of fail safe or agile gunner.
Oh, sure.
That Sicko being able to do the sickening maneuver, do like a 4K, get the free focus from 5s, and blast a saturation salvo. Like, that did look like a real like attack ship out there and not just a support ship. But yeah. I see what you're saying. Like,
I kind of want like that. More loadout in whatever it is, but not be relegated to 7th Fleet Gunner ship, basically. And still be able to take something like, because like C-3PO crew does actually a very reasonable amount of help from the survivability of the Lat. And I think it'd be kind of cool if Warthog actually gets to be one that gets played again, because at least his ability works on himself.
It's true.
Yeah. So I have a small tangent follow-up question to that. So if a 5-point Lat exists with 13 loadout, like, is it just, and a gunner slot, of course, is it you just always, will people always just put 7th Fleet on it?
I think that's always a starting point, but I think you could realistically make the argument that that Lat just gets burned down and dies, because one of the things that made the Hound 7th Fleet Lat good at the time was it could also take C-3PO crew, which actually helped its survivability a lot. Like, it's basically having Han rerolls, but all the time, no matter where you are on the board, as long as you're calculating.
Yeah, because I mean, even if you go up to like 14 loadout, now you just take 7th Fleet and Agile Gunner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to take away the gunner slot because it is kind of like the identity.
It seems like in whatever world I want this to exist in, we're either errataing Ghost Company and or Wolfpack to not require gunner, or we're just banning 7th Fleet Gunner.
I mean, you just point out 7th Fleet Gunner to like 20 or something. Just get it unusable.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, because at 20 loadout, even if you have 20 loadout, are you still taking it?
Maybe.
Jeez.
There's always a maybe, right? And that's maybe. Yeah. And honestly, 7th Fleet Gunner might be one of those upgrades that has warped the design space of this faction. Like, it just hasn't been able to potentially have more 3-die attack-based ships because they're either Force users already, or like 7th Fleet Gunner existed. So they can only do so many 3-die attack ships before. So I think you ban 7th Fleet Gunner, and I think your design space opens up in the future. We can make a Lat that's cheaper, but has a lot of loadout again.
I'd even be in on like a 4-point like attack Lat.
Sure. Make like Sicko 4 points in his current version.
Yeah. I mean, if he like only had a missile slot, it'd be like interesting getting that cheap. Though it's a lot of health though for just 4 points.
Well, just like let Sicko exist at 4 points with Sat Salvo and Barrage Rockets. It's just 8 points of loadout. Whatever. But also, like, you could make Warthog 5 points and have him have multi-missile pods, C-3PO, Plasma Tor, Wolfpack, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's good, but
I don't know.
I want an attack lat. That's good.
I don't know if you can make a 4-point lat with
now with fire convergence.
With fire convergence, yeah. Yeah.
It would have to be like Naked Hound out there. Maybe.
So I'm gonna go with a 7 Fleet Gunner band and a better gunship lat.
A gunship
lat.
Yeah. Yeah. In a world where generic ships are non-existent, I think putting Warthog down to 5 and making him a gunship would be pretty cool.
Yeah, like he's always going to be able to shoot, and that's cool if you're shooting gunship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, you still can take Warthog with a lot of ships with them, but probably not good in this meta.
Not a good idea to run a bunch of 3-point Zs with them. Speaking of what factions can run generics, though, our last faction's Separatist. Marcel, you got thoughts on Separatist? What do you like? What do you not like right now? What would you tweak in the Separatist?
I don't like any of it.
Well, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'll fix it.
But yeah, I mean the easy go-to is the Tri-Fighters, getting the Tri-Fighters playable. I mean, I think that's like what most people would want, is some way to make them just be on the board more. But I'm
it's like 1.5 playable Tri-Fighters. That's SOC T81 and Volan.
Yeah, but it's not gonna, even if you get them playable, like they're not going to impact the. You're not gonna get a big impact on the board.
Right.
So what I am going to suggest is actually it's going to be a little bit of unpopular take.
Wow.
But
okay.
It's going to be Captain Sear in the Belbalub, down to 4 points, and also gets access to the Soulless 1 title.
Wow. Okay.
So that allows him to be 4 points with the title, so he gets the extra hull. Allows him to take Kraken and shield upgrade. So basically, he is a tank, 8 health tank. And I think no, you don't take the other stuff on him. You can probably go Impervium plating.
I was gonna say, you could probably just reduce his loadout to
10. Reduce it so it's 10. Like Solus 1 Impervium attack relay.
Yeah, so you get Kraken, Impervium, or if you don't want to do Kraken, you can go like. No, actually, I like 17 because, for example, you can go shield upgrade and Impervium shield upgrade and one of the not Krakens.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, and for those who don't know, Captain Crew is the one that says, while the friendly ship at range 0 performs a primary attack with the defenders in its bullseye before the neutral less results, says the ship may spend a calculate to cancel evade. So basically, it's crack shot. Spending a calculate for a crack shot, and it's mainly useful with the drones. So it makes all the drones playable again, and then also with the tech. What are they called? It's a
tactical relay. Called?
There you go. With the tactical relays, it gives you tactical relays on the board, and because he is a 3-die gun and he is going to have 1 million health out there, he's just going to be. He's going to be the linchpin for your little death droid machine and load up the other 7 ships somehow. Get 8 ships out there.
I like it. I like it. Well, who do you want to go next, Marcel?
Right.
You hit it. That was a pretty good one. It's
That
a decently wide-reaching effect, which is
yeah.
good.
I think Ryan, you've been saying you want droids. More to
I
come back
want
for a while,
droid-centric
right?
lists to be good,
Yeah.
and it's hard right now. So if
Yeah,
we're
what-
stacking, if we're theoretically, and the whole premise of this was like, if with our powers combined, what does each faction now look like when we make our updates? It's like the Seer updates are really, I like that one a lot, and seems reasonable. I mean, maybe he doesn't get souls, so maybe he goes down to 4, still gets shields, still gets impervium, and he can still have access to most of the attack relays. I think most there's a lot of attack relay carriers that, like, besides the HMPs, that really needed some help, and this might be one of the good ones to do. And Seer is kind of the number one. Watt's okay. Not a feature piece. He could be, though, if they retooled him a bit. This one
Yeah,
seems
I think you can take shield and impervium if you don't take Kraken. But you have to change out.
I even think
Impervium for
Kraken's the
shield.
best one. Like we've seen.
Yeah, with Seer, I think 175 is better.
Yeah, Pinata Droid, or even K2B4. We saw ISO do really well with that before.
Yeah.
Which would lead into maybe putting Indie Calc back to 0 points.
Oof.
It was 2 before, or it was 0 before, then was up to 2. Put it to 0. Heck, I contemplated thinking about this topic originally to help Separatist to put, like, just make energy shell charge, like, basically free on vultures. I don't know. Like, they're so far behind the curve, it's actually insane. Like, I don't know, like, if you put all this together, right? Seer gets this thing. Vultures get Indie Calc for free. And they all get energy shell charge free. So, like, once a game, they'll get a real 3-die attack unless they're range 1. If they keep their calculate. Another caveat to that one. And I even consider, like, what if the pipped vultures, like, let's say the 2 pip Hayor Charles, they're 1 point. We get 1 point vultures, but they're pipped, so you can't take a bunch of them. I think the current Hayor Charles are 2 pipped, the custom ones. If you want, you can make the SOC ones 1 point. I don't know. But in general, I think Vulture Help would be encapsulate that with probably a higher emphasis on Indie Calc being 0 points. And then consideration of, like, cheaper energy shell charges and or some amount of vultures down to 1 point.
Interesting. So I also have the opinion that vultures are hurting. I mean, Tri-Fires aren't getting a lot of help, even though they're 3 points. They're on fire sale right now. But I got a big one, and it's changing slots actually. So right now, who are the most taken tactical relays? I would have to imagine 047 in the HMP would be number 1. He's got a loadout, take any relay you want. Only 3 squad points.
Oh, you're saying tactical relay carriers, not the tactical relay updates.
Carriers.
Yeah,
yes.
it's HMPs of number 1 right now, for sure.
I would say 047 and 286. If you don't want Kraken, you can take 286.
Sure. The other HMP. So 3-point HMP. Yeah. And I think the only other relay at 4 is the customizable 32C, which is the coordinating one, coordinating network calculation ships. And then Watt Tambor is I think the only other 4-point one. Let's go over my card browser for a second. Thoughts? Tactical relay.
That sounds right.
Where's my tactical relay?
Yeah, Watt Tambor at 4.
The 2 3-point HMPs.
3-point HMPs.
There's a prototype as well.
And then
the Geonosian prototype HMP at 4 points.
Oh, that can take it too?
Really?
Okay.
As a relay.
I thought that one focused on the cannons.
Well, I mean that's the whole point. Is you're too busy buying synced laser or ion cannon on it that you're not.
Yeah, I mean 4-point DBS 32 Hyena.
At 4 points, you can still get synced laser and
Kalani or whatever the
Kalani,
other 2 point
175 or KGB4.
KGB4
4-point HMP.
Oh,
but then you're 4-point HMP.
So I got a suggestion for you as the new tactical relay carrier, and it's DFS 081.
No way.
The 2-point Vulture loses his missile slot to gain the relay slot. So now your investment into your tactical relay carrier only has to be 2 points. Bump them up so you can take Kraken, but you can't take Independent and Kraken. You'd have to choose one or the other.
So let me ask you this: is that more powerful in your mind? If you could have a 2-point Kraken carrier that's just a Vulture hanging out with Strut somewhere,
just strutting it up.
Do you think that is more powerful than if we just brought DFS 311 down to 2 points?
That's the quarterback droid.
The quarterbot.
Yeah, what's your job? Throw me a calculate.
Yep. With independent calc.
Because I think if we're thinking droid centric, relay is the answer. It has to be. Whether it's the evades, whether it's the holding around, or whether it's pinata on there as well. It's just, I feel like it is so boring to bring an HMP and just put one tactical relay on it as like its only job. Like those are gunships. They should have munitions on them. They should have something. Putting them out
for sure.
As like just the relay carrier is so boring. But
that's why when I looked at like 047 in the HMP, I looked at like a 4-point tactical relay and energy shell charges because he has 8 total. So it'd be like K2B4 or Kalani with energy shell charges. So this has some combative ability. Because I think a single HMP with just the tactical relay is just not good.
Yeah, it's boring. It's a support ship, but it's not a very good one. I would just like to see, because here's, what do you think about this? Being able to put 6 tri-fighters out there with a relay.
None of the relays just like super shine for the tri-fighters, especially if you're trying to tie it down to a Vulture. I mean, maybe like is K2B4 range 3?
Sure is.
They're all range 3, I think.
I thought there was one that wasn't, but I guess you are right. Yeah, they are all.
Well, a lot of them are like bullseye only or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, what if we brought DBS 32C Hyena down to 3 points?
Oh, the coordinating one? That is interesting. I could concede that because of one factor being that the 32C must use networked calculations. And I think that there's been a big divide between, like, it's why independent went up, is that independent is better than networked in almost every situation. Not every, but almost every.
You're right. That would be interesting because DBS 32C, like you can make it a really good value, like still keeps its like 16 loadout or some good loadout so that like it could take like shield upgrade and a real tactical relay, right? And it's sitting there It's on a rock. It's coordinating stuff at I-7 basically, which is insane sometimes. But normally, like right now, the coordinate targets aren't that great because they're droids. They poof.
Right, giving a
matter what
target
they
lock
get, they
to
don't
an
get shoot.
I-1 hyena doesn't sound very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but maybe giving a calc boost to a
try.
fighter
Yeah.
at initiative 7.
I mean,
Or
it would
evade
make
roll,
considering
you know?
bringing those network calculation SOC ships because they can't go indie, and you could still mix them into indie lists anyway.
Yeah, I do like, because I have been running I have been running 3 stock droids, and they have been pretty fun. Like
What's your
in
third
one of my
one?
games,
The 2 HMPs and then what?
it's the Tri-Fighter
Tri-Fighter.
and the 2 bombers.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and DBS 404 killing himself with a ranged one attack, and then giving 32C a roll lock saved me in one of my games. So I do think that the sock droids have something.
Are sock droids kind of like sock puppets, or
they are?
A little bit.
Exactly.
A little bit.
So I think sock droids like could have something to do there.
Yeah, like I said, I just want to encourage the network calculations because I feel like that was like the original strength of the vultures, right? It was what made them interesting over, say, whatever, like a TIE Swarm or something. You're supposed to combat their low agility.
Yeah, I think the 30TC going down to 3 points, and that's it. Just drop it down to 3 points. I think that is a great change.
Cool, very interesting. They're taking a look. We'll be looking forward to the points drop when it inevitably comes. We'll see if we can get a taste of that before Worlds, or if we have to wait until afterwards.
You're just gonna. Oh, mine was DBF 32C. Okay, all right.
Yeah, isn't that what you said?
Yeah, sure. Yep. I thought we were rolling back into yours was the Vulture. Okay, gotcha. I was gonna say get rid of fire sprays and Separatist.
Oh, okay.
Probably a bit too much. I don't mind they exist. I just want them to not be the only thing that's ever played.
No. Why is Separatist the fire spray faction right now?
Well,
tell me why.
We could talk about how dirt shows up everywhere, but not tonight. Tonight we're getting out of here. It's been fantastic talking about potentials here. Really trying to identify what is below the curve from what's slightly above the curve, and some opportunities for improvement in those different factions. Though should be exciting. So I just want to shout out again patreon.com/Gold Squadron. There's a bunch of different tiers that you can check out. Find one that works best for you. And of course, you got to get on the Discord if you want to talk more about X-Wing, want to find someone local to you if you're struggling to get some in-person games in. All that can be found and more on the Discord to try to keep it positive and friendly there as a great resource for X-Wing. So, for everybody at Gold Squadron, stay safe, stay smart. Gold Squadron out.
Thank you to ISO, Danko, Baffle, Trojan, Prophet, Shadow, Tycho, Spice, Raider, Lancer, Fallen, Row 6, 626, Chief, and J List, our Grand Admiral patrons. And all of our Gold Squadron patrons and community members, thank you for your support. Gold Squadron out.